David Daniel Ducker here, and today I'm talking about the style guide. Super organizational tool, very important. So, what is the style guide? Everyone's style guide will look a little bit different. Um, my style guide, I break it down usually into just three parts: people, places, and things. That's how I break mine down. The style guide is like your Bible, your resource for continuity and for building your setting and your characters and your concepts. So your outline is for the plot. What happens when, to who, and where. That's all important for your outline. But in your style guide, you really want to break down, this is my main character. This is his personality. This is his appearance. These are his goals. These are the struggles he will face. And you can write this little profile of your main character and your secondary characters. In my first novel, my style guide in terms of the people, I probably have 2 pages of text on all the various characters and just who they are, what they look like, what their personality is like. And as I'm writing my draft, I'll go through and be like, main character meets secondary character. And then I'll go back and I'll go back to my style guide after I've written that scene with the secondary character, and I'll update the style guide. And I'll say, new character, Joe the blacksmith. Joe the blacksmith is described as looking like this, and he kind of serves this role in the story, and here's his personality. And that way, if I ever need more of Joe the blacksmith, he's in the style guide, and I can pull up his file, so to speak. Or in draft 2, I'm going to do my dev edit, and I'll look at all my characters and I'll say, oh, Joe the blacksmith, like, oh, that was a pretty boring character in draft 1. How can I spice this character up for draft 2? Or do I need this character? Maybe I can cut him. Maybe I can make him more interesting. Maybe make him a female, and she's like the widow of the previous blacksmith, and then she can talk about how the inheritance laws work in the setting, because that's important later. So I can use her as a tool for exposition, and I'll rename her to Janice. All right. So now I've updated the style guide, and then when I'm writing draft 2, I'll work from the style guide. And when Joe the blacksmith shows up, I'll be like, who is Joe the blacksmith? And I'll look at my style guide and see, oh, Joe is now Janice, and I have all this stuff to work from as I rewrite that scene, right? So do that with your characters, but also your locations and your concepts. So I'm writing sci-fi and fantasy. So in my first novel, there's the characters, the settings. For me, that includes spaceships and space stations and big cities and planets. Those are all in my style guide under places and what they look like, why they're important, what happens there. And it's this tool for me to maintain consistency. Every time we come to that planet, I can go back and reference my style guide and see, oh, what is this planet like? Is the gravity low? Is the oxygen, is the air thick, the atmosphere? What do the locals look like? Do they have orange skin? Are they very militant, perhaps? They all walk around with guns on their hip. And I can update that and work from it in future drafts. And as I'm drafting, I update the style guide so that I can do that more efficiently. And then also things, the more nebulous category. This could be like wildlife, technology, magic. In my sci-fi book, my sci-fi novel, it's very long, the list of things, because it includes my faster than light travel, the technology for the humans, the technology for the aliens, what I call the wristwatch computers, how they work, the holograms, how the ship systems work. Like I have spin gravity and rail guns and drones, and I have to detail each of these technologies to maintain consistency and see how they fit together. So in draft one, for example, the humans had particle beams and energy shields and like a jump drive type hyperdrive wormhole drive thing. So that was draft one, and then in draft two, I'm like, oh, I need to lower the tech level. It'd be way better if I lower their tech level. So now we have rail guns and armor and spin gravity. I kept the jump drive, but I went through on I think mid-draft actually and updated my style guide. So if you read draft one, all of a sudden the humans have this huge decline and they are working with totally different tech. But then when I wrote draft two and I rewrote the first half of the novel, I have my style guide, so I can say, oh, that's wrong. It actually should be, and I look at my style guide, a railgun, not a particle beam, whatever it was in draft one. So that way I don't have to jump around my draft one to make sure it's consistent. I have this secondary document with all of my people and places and things so I can maintain consistency and write down concepts I need to introduce either later in this draft or in the next draft or in my revision, whatever it is. So your style guide is such an amazing and important tool for you as an author. Even if you're not doing sci-fi or fantasy, you need to know your characters, you need to know your settings, and you need to possibly to know some of these larger concepts as well. So that's basically it. That's how I do my style guide. That's why it's important. That's what it is. Let me know in the comments below, how do you do yours differently? Is yours a separate document? Is yours a series of separate documents? Do you make your own wiki? I've heard of authors doing that. Are there any amazing websites or apps that help you do that? I just use a word processor because I'm old school. AKA, I don't know how to use technology very well, and I'm dumb. So I keep it really simple because that's all I can handle, and it works for me. I could handle more if I needed to, but I don't feel I need to. Maybe I'm wrong. Convince me I'm wrong in the comments below, and do a video response. I'd love to hear how other authors do their thing in this regard. So that's how I do my thing. And I'm going to sign off until I see you again. David Daniel Ducker.